Okay, so let's pray first. To the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. To the Father and to the Son and to the Holy Spirit. It was in the beginning. There shall be a world without end. Amen. Saint Paul, pray for us in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Good evening, guys. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. So our topic for today is an overview. Okay, overview of the whole final coverage. Okay, all about parasitology or parasitism or parasitology nga. So, Miss Casdil Castillo, prepared na ba yung mga yung mga materials na sinabi ko last time?
Sir, pinorward ko po sa GC yung message nyo po, sir. Pati yung picture po.
So hopefully prepared na those materials by next meeting. Okay. So postpone muna natin yung activity for today. Okay. So regarding on the pala sa OSPE. Mahirap pa yung OSPE nyo? Any feedback? Before we begin the lecture. Mahirap bang OSPE?
Yes, sir.
Mahirap talaga according to Miss Monggoy. Oo, medyo mahirap na yun kasi nag-focus sila sa tawag dito, lecture. Most of you naman guys is maganda yung result. So, do not worry siguro. But some of you, I think, 4, 5, medyo mababa. Okay, so since wala nang katanungan, let's proceed to our topic for today, and that would be parasitic infection. Okay. So this is the overview. I said the overview ng whole topic natin sa finals. So, lahat is parasitism or parasites or parasitology na tayo. Okay. So, parasitic infection. So, by definitions, okay, so parasitology is a branch of microbiology that deals or study of parasites. Okay, so I do believe that you know already what is parasites, no? So parasitism is a symbiotic relationship that is a benefit to one party or the symbiont or the parasite itself. Okay, and usually it is detrimental to the other party or the host. So usually, ang parasite is smaller compared to the host. Okay, so ibig sabihin kapag detrimental, guys, it gives harm, very harmful dun sa may host. Okay, so parasites are organisms that live in the other living organism or to the host. Whose expense they gain some advantage. So usually advantage talaga kasi tinitake tawag dito, kinukuha nila most of the nutrients na instead of gagamitin nung host, kinukuha na nila yung ibang nutrients. That is parasites. Okay? So aside from yung kinukuha nila yung ibang nutrients, nagiging detrimental sila by means of producing toxins, yung mga byproducts nila sa metabolism. Kaya nagiging detrimental dun sa may isang party o kaya dun sa may mismo host. Okay? So parasites that live on the outside the host body are usually called ectoparasites. So those are parasites na nakikita mostly sa mga skin. Okay? So outside the host body. Okay? Then parasites that live inside the host are called endoparasites. So ibig sabihin sa loob ng mismong katawan no host o kaya mismo sa tao. Okay? Then the definition also, the life cycle of parasites may involve one or more hosts. Okay, so hindi niya lang kailangan iisa ang magiging host niya. Possible na may transmit siya from first host to another host. Okay. So if more than one host is involved, okay, the definite host or the definitive host is the host that harbors the adult or sexual stage of the parasite. So dito na yung parang pinaka-end part ng parasite kung saan pwede na siyang mag-reproduce ulit ng panibagong offspring niya. So that is for the definitive host. Doon na siya mag-produce ng egg, mag-produce siya ng egg, then magiging larva, then adult later on. Okay. So the host that harbors the larval or sexual stage can be considered as also the intermediate host. So usually kung yung egg, for example, yung egg na transmit from other hosts at nagiging larval stage siya, hindi pa siya asexual, you can consider that as intermediate host. Then possible na yung larval stage may transmit from the definitive host, doon na siya magiging adult or sexually active stage na siya. Okay. Then what about accidental host? So accidental host is one that serve as a host but not the usual host on the parasite's life cycle. So ibig sabihin hindi siya yung talagang actual na host niya. Parang yun nga, accidental lang siya na napunta doon sa may isang host. Okay. Then lastly, the dead end host. So this is one in which the parasite cannot continue its life cycle. Okay? So ibig sabihin, possible na hindi na siya may transmit from the definitive host kung saan magiging adult na siya or sexual stage na yung parasite. So doon na siya mag-end yung life cycle mismo ng parasite. So ibig sabihin hindi siya na magde-develop into adult, hindi na siya makakapag-reproduce ng offspring, doon na din siya mamamatay. Okay, so that is for the dead end host. Okay. Okay. Next, what is a facultative parasite? So a facultative parasite is an organism that can be parasitic, but does not have to live as a parasite to the host itself. It has a capable of an independent life. So one example of this one is a free-living amoeba, which specifically the Naegleria fowleri. So possible siya na mabuhay lang without any host. Okay? Nagets niyo yun? That is facultative parasite. Pwede siyang makapag-grow lang, makapag-reproduce without the host. But sometimes kapag na-ingest siya, pumunta siya sa host, nagiging detrimental yung parasitic na yun dun sa may host. Okay? Example dito is the Naegleria fowleri, which causes a primary amoebic meningoencephalitis to the host. Because this Naegleria fowleri is an amoeba. So pumupunta siya sa what? Brain at dinidestroy niya yung meninges dun sa may utak ng tao. Kaya nagiging deadly yung Naegleria fowleri kung na-ingest siya at naging parasite siya. Okay? That is for facultative parasite. While an obligate parasite has no choice but to inhabit a host para mag-continue siya, para mabuhay siya. Okay? So that is the difference of the obligate parasite sa facultative parasite. Sa facultative, again, pwede lang siya mamuhay without the host. But the obligate parasite has no choice but must to inhabit a host para mag-continue yung kanyang life cycle. Okay. So most of the parasites that infect humans are obligate parasite. Okay, so that is the phrase there. So, next, how parasite can cause disease. Paano ba nagbibigay ng disease yung ating mga parasite? Like for example, sa bacteria, nagpo-produce sila ng toxin. So same is true with those other parasites. Okay? So in a manner in which parasite causes damage to their host varies from one species of parasites to another. So depende sa parasites yan. Kasi ang daming klaseng parasites na pwedeng mag-cause ng disease. Okay. And often depends on the number of parasites that are present inside the body of the host. So depende yun. Kahit kukunti, kung very deadly naman yun, or masyado namang marami, para magiging deadly na yun siya. Okay? So those are the causes on how they give disease sa may mga host natin. Okay. Some parasites can produce toxins, na yung sinasabi ko last time, kanina. Some produce are toxins. Some produce harmful enzyme. Okay. Some are invasive and migratory parasites. Like for example, yung fowleri, kasi nagmamigrate yun sa may brain. Okay. And causes physical damage to tissues and organs. And some causes the destruction of individual cells. And some causes occlusion of blood vessels and other tubular structure. Ibig sabihin, nagbabara sila sa mga blood vessels. So kaya doon sila nagmamigrate sa mga blood vessels o kaya sa mga tubular structure, most especially itong mga tubular structures, ito yung mga gastrointestinal tract natin. Those are tubular structures, organs in our bodies. Then sometimes the host immune response to the parasites causes more injury than the parasites themselves. So paano kayang nangyayari yun? Okay, so most especially, yung mga immunodeficiency. Okay? Instead or yung mga taong immunodeficient, na imbes na tutulong yung immune response nila, hindi na. Okay? Or sometimes, yung immune mismo ang nagkukos na ng sakit kasi nagiging nagpo-produce kasi yung immune system natin ng parang panlaban ba ng mga parasites nito. At yung panlaban na yun, through chemical of course, I think immunoglobulin or something like that, nagiging detrimental na kasi masyado ng marami yung nagpo-produce ng body natin. At sometimes, yung mga ibang tao, nagkakaroon na ng allergic reaction dun sa immune response na yun. Kaya nagiging harmful na yung immune response ng katawan ng mismong tao compared to the parasite itself. Okay? Next, ito na yung mga different parasites. First is the parasitic protozoa. So alam niyo naman na yung protozoa, right? So most protozoa are unicellular. Okay, so they are classified taxonomically by their mode of locomotion. So first is the amoeba, or this belongs to the class, I think class Sarcodina. So they move by means of pseudopodia or false feet na tinatawag. So dyan na yung mga amoeba, yung amoeba dysentery, kung na yung mga nagkakos ng mga diarrhea sa through water, ganun. Then next is the flagellates, or I think mastigophora, moved by means of flagella or mga flagellates or flagellum. Okay. Next is the ciliates or ciliophorans, moved by means of cilia. And lastly, the sporozoans, which they did not move because they don't have locomotory organelles. Okay, so ibig sabihin mga sporozoans, they are non-motile. Okay, so not all protozoans are parasitic. For example, in this one is the Paramecium species, but some, of course, are parasitic. So protozoal infection are most often diagnosed by microscopic examination of body fluids. Okay, tissue specimen or feces. So yung tae, yung sa may blood, sa body fluid. Okay, tissue specimen, possible dun sa may skin, pwede nilang i-scrape yung skin mo para itignan, i-examine under microscope. Okay, so specimen are examined for motile trophozoites and dormant cyst stages. So these are the two stages commonly found in protozoa. Okay, kapag sinabi natin trophozoites or motile, these are the motile part or life cycle of the sporozoan, the protozoans. Okay, so this is the feeding time, motile or dividing stages of the protozoa, while the dormant stage or the infective stage na tinatawag ay ito yung cyst or cyst stage. Okay, so ito yung infective stage ng life cycle ng protozoa. Okay, bakit kaya? Kasi considered yung the trophozoites, dividing stage siya sa motile, so typically sana nagiging infective stage kasi mas mabilis yung pag-travel from one place to another because of the word motile. But under circumstances kasi yung kapag yung trophozoites nagiging tawag dito, what do you call this one? Fragile. Okay, fragile yung nature ng trophozoites. Kaya yung cyst stage, may parang mga covering pa siya. Yung parang may mga coat pa siya, parang egg stage pa siya. Possible. Yun yung pinaka-infective stage siya. Kaya buo pa rin yung cyst na may transfer. Buhay pa rin. Na may transfer from one host to another, unlike sa may trophozoites na possible na mamatay siya. Okay? So kaya tinawag na yung cyst stage ang tawag ito, infective stage ng protozoan. Okay. Parasitic infection caused by the protozoa. So ito na yung mga different sakit na kinakos o kinaproduce ng ating protozoa. First is the toxoplasmosis or toxoplasmosis. Toxoplasmosis. So toxoplasmosis are systemic sporozoan. So ibig sabihin, buong part ng katawan ng tao kapag na-infect ka na tawag dito, na-infect ka na, halos sa lahat ng katawan mo pwedeng ma-invade ng sporozoans na ito. So sporozoan infected that is in immunocompetent person may be asymptomatic, okay, or resembles infectious mononucleosis. So yung mononucleosis, ito yung parang sakit ng mga kasi mga young adults, parang yung nagkakaroon ka ng beke, fever, ganun. So halos parehas yung symptoms. It resembles symptoms din dito sa may toxoplasmosis. So this is a serious disease. Even death may occur in immunodeficient person. Okay? Kasi kapag sinabi ng dating immunodeficient person, wala na siyang capable na suppress o kaya malabanan, okay, yung toxoplasmosis or yung sporozoans dun sa kanyang katawan. So typically in both the CNS or the central nervous system, the eyes, the lungs, the muscles, or in the heart. So as I've said, systemic siya. So halos lahat na ng katawan mo kapag infect ka na to, doon mo pwedeng makita yan. Okay? Next. So the parasite is involved is Toxoplasma gondii. So the reservoir, kung saan makikita, this is the definitive host, yung dun sa may cats and other feline animals. So kapag sinabi natin felines, ito yung mga family ng mga cats. Okay? Intermediate host, ang rodents, birds, sheep, and goats, swine, and cattle. So those are the intermediate hosts for the toxoplasmosis or the Toxoplasma gondii. So how are we going to transmit? So paano nata-transmit itong toxoplasmosis? So mode of transmission by eating infected raw or undercooked meat containing the cyst form of the parasite. Okay, so ingested oocyte that have been shed on the feces or the infected cats can be transmitted, and through transplacental or blood transfusion or organ donation. Okay, so dun sa may transplacental, for example, yung nanay buntis, no? And na-infection ng toxoplasmosis o kaya nakakain siya ng tawag ito, ng meat na infested with toxoplasmosis. So ang possible na mangyayari dun sa may anak niya, matatransmit yung parasite na yun dun sa baby. So that is for transplacental. Blood transfusion naman dun sa may blood na mismo, hindi na-check ng mabuti yung blood bago na i-transfuse dun sa may ibang tao na walang toxoplasmosis, yung isa ay meron, pwede na rin silang magkaroon ng dalawa na sila mayroon toxoplasmosis or organ donation also. Okay? Then laboratory diagnosis. So immunodiagnostic procedure. So demonstration of the parasite is stained by body tissue or fluids. Okay? So patient care, they use the standard precaution for hospitalized patients. So nasa hospital na yan kung ano yung mga standard precautions nila, kung ano yung mga possible na treatment na pwede nilang ibigay para sa mga taong may toxoplasmosis. Okay? Next, pibiasis. So very common na sa inyo to. So this is a protozoal gastrointestinal infection that may be asymptomatic or mild or severe. And it's often accompanied by dysentery, fever, chills, bloody or mucoid diarrhea or constipation or the colitis na tinatawag. So colitis is, I think this is the inflammation of the gastrointestinal column. Okay? So mucoid diarrhea naman, may mucus o kaya parang plema yung tae o kaya yung stool sample mo kapag may amoebiasis ka. Okay? Next, so parasite that is involved, Entamoeba histolytica. So reservoir, symptomatic and asymptomatic humans. So hindi mo alam kung lalong-lalo na yung mga asymptomatic. So fecally contaminated food or water. So dun possible na makuha yung tao. Okay? So mode of transmission. So the person will ingest fecally contaminated food or water containing the cyst. Okay. So sometimes flies transporting the cyst from feces to food. Okay. Then fecally soiled hand or infected food handlers. Lalo na kung yung tao na nagre-prepare ng food niya may sakit pala siyang amoebiasis. Naghugas naman siya pero hindi siya nagsabon. Okay. Medyo may possibility na magkaroon ngayon ng outbreak ngayon ng amoebiasis. Then of course, oral to anal sexual contact. Okay? And anal intercourse involving multiple sex partners. So those are the possible mode of transmission from one person to another. Okay? So laboratory diagnosis, they're going to see whether you are or the person is suffering from amoebiasis is through what? Fecal smear. So microscopic observation of E or Entamoeba histolytica trophozoites or cysts that is present into the stool or fecal sample. Okay. Then patient care, as usual, use standard precaution for hospitalized patient. Okay. I think metronidazole, anti-parasitic yun metronidazole. Can you please check if my memory serves me right? Okay, next is gardiasis. So this is a protozoal infection, usually in the duodenum. Okay, so intestinal pa rin to. And may be asymptomatic, mild, or severe. So the patient experienced diarrhea or tawag ito is steatorrhea, abdominal cramps, bloating, abdominal gas, fatigue, and sometimes weight loss. Okay. Let me check yung one. Steatorrhea is a presence of excess fat or fatty stool. Kapag nagkaroon ka ng diarrhea ka, kapag yung tawag dito, yung stool mo is nagfo-float. Kasi yun yung usually indication kapag masyadong mataas ang fats dun sa may sa may stool. Nagfo-float yung tae. Ibig sabihin, steatorrhea din yun. Lalo kapag may infected ka with gardiasis or giardiasis. So the parasite is Giardia lamblia. Okay. Reservoir, infected humans, fecally contaminated drinking water, and recreational water. So recreational water, usually ito yung what? Swimming pool sometimes, or usually ito yung mga sa may rivers. Okay. So mode of transmission, ingested of cysts, fecally contaminated food or water, or usually person to person by soiled hand to mouth. Okay. So laboratory diagnosis, microscopic observation of trophozoites, cyst, stain smear on fecal specimen. Okay. Or duodenal aspirates. So usually fecal specimen naman na yan. Then patient care, use standard precaution for hospitalized patient. Add contact precaution for diapered or incontinent patient. Okay. Next, balantidiasis. So another gastrointestinal parasite that infects the colon, causing diarrhea, dysentery, colic, or nausea, and sometimes vomiting. So, dito yung tsura ng balantidiasis. Okay. So, parasites that is involved is the Balantidium coli. So, reservoir, pigs, and anything that might be contaminated with pig feces. So, mode of transmission, ingestion of cysts in fecally contaminated food or water. So, as much as possible, kaya nga nilalayo yung may mga piggery, nilalayo yung mga piggery sa may mga matataong lugar because of this possible outbreak or contamination of balantidiasis. Okay. So, laboratory diagnosis. So, observation of or identifying the Balantidium coli and trophozoites in fecal specimen. So, usually, mga fecal specimen. Itong sa fecal, tinitingnan kung positive or negative yung isang taong suffering from different parasitic protozoans. Okay. Then, nasa na tayo? Patient care, use standard precaution for hospitalized patient. Okay. So, trichomoniasis. So, it is a sexually transmitted protozoal disease affecting both men and women. So, ibig sabihin, STD, sexually transmitted disease. Trichomoniasis vaginalis, I think. Trichomonas vaginalis. Usually symptomatic in women. Okay, it's usually symptomatic in women. Vaginitis with refuse, cuneiform, malodorous, greenish yellowish discharge of the women. So it is really symptomatic in men. So usually sa female ito, nakikita yung symptoms ng Trichomonas vaginalis or trichomoniasis. Okay. So the parasite, yung sabi ko, Trichomonas vaginalis. So reservoir, infected humans. So mode of transmission, direct contact with vaginal or urethral discharges of infected people during sexual intercourse. So how are they going to diagnose trichomoniasis? Through saline wet mouth examination. Okay, so ibig sabihin, isaswab nila yung sexual organ ng babae. Okay, then patient care, use standard precaution. Okay, next, malaria. So, protozoal pala ang malaria. Okay, so malaria is a systemic sporozoan. So sporozoan, ibig sabihin, hindi sila motile or non-motile. Okay. So infection in malaise, fever, chills, sweating, headache, and nausea. So those are the symptoms which exhibit periodically a cycle of chills, fever, and sweating depending on the particular species of malarial parasite that is causing the infection. So there are different types of malarial infection. So titignan natin yun. Next, ayan. So these are the malaria involved, or the parasite that is involved that causes malaria. First is the Plasmodium vivax, which is commonly found na nagkukos ng malaria. And the falciparum, Plasmodium falciparum, is the most deadly. Next to the Plasmodium malariae and the Plasmodium ovale. Okay. Reservoir, infected humans, infected mosquitoes. So, anong klase ng mosquitoes? So, yung Anopheles. So, mode of transmission, injection of sporozoites into the bloodstream by an infected female Anopheles mosquito. While taking a blood meal and blood transfusion, use the blood contaminated needles. So, ito yung parang kanya ng mosquito. or use of blood contaminated needles and syringe. So usually hindi naman na siguro to blood contaminated needles and syringe. So alam naman natin ng mga usually yung standard precaution usually in this one. So isang tao, isang syringe or needle, tama po ba sa mga healthcare professionals. So laboratory diagnosis, observation on or identification of Plasmodium species or parasite in the blood smear through GEMSA stain. Okay. Ikukuha siya yan. Yung blood smear, papakita later on to. Kung sa may hematologic, papakita kung paano mag-prepare ng blood smear. I-drop mo yung kanyang drug dun sa may tawag ito, glass slide. I-spread mo, then papatakan mo later on ng GEMSA. Then i-observe mo. At ito supposed to be makikita mo. Ito yung mga example ng mga parasite. Ito yung blood mismo, guys. Yung bilog-bilog na light violet. Yun yung mga RBC. At yung mga nandun sa loob niya na mga parang donut shape, those are the Plasmodium species. Okay. So patient care is standard location. So Plasmodium or the Plasmodium species are intraerythrocytic sporozoan parasite. So ibig sabihin dun sa loob ng erythrocyte siya nag-grow o yan nagde-develop. Okay? So the Plasmodium vivax and the Plasmodium ovale, which result chills and fever every 48 hours. Or ito na yung tinatawag na natin tertian malaria. Kasi every 48 hours, after 48 hours, expect mo na magkakaroon kaya na ng chills kapag Plasmodium vivax or Plasmodium ovale yung dumapo dun sa may isang host o kaya tao. Okay? Dun sa may malaria naman, Plasmodium malariae, the infection causes chills and fever every 72 hours. So every 72 hours, expect mo na mag-chill, kaya magkakaroon ngayon ng fever yung taong may Plasmodium malariae or ito yung tinatawag nating quartan malaria. So after 72 hours. So the falciparum varies from 36 to 48 hours. Okay. So bakit kaya sinabi natin falciparum ang pinaka-deadly? Based on our result dito kanina. Falciparum is the most deadly, sabi niya dito. Based dito. Falciparum varies from 36 to 48 hours lang. Diyan nag-onset na yung fever o kaya chills nung may malaria na Plasmodium falciparum yung dumapo sa kanya. Anyone? Bakit sinabing mas deadly ang falciparum? Miss Kurameng. Miss Kurameng, nandito ba? Caitlin Kurameng. Bakit kaya sinabi nating mas deadly based on sa apat na natin Plasmodium species natin? Falciparum is the most deadliest. Mag-base tayo dito sa may sa result natin dito sa may causes chills and fever every 36 or not after 48. I think nagkuhan dito within yung range ng 36 to 48 hours. Miss Kurameng?
Sir?
Any idea kung bakit mas deadly ang falciparum compared to Vivax o Vale at saka malaria?
Sir, kasi it multiplies rapidly in the blood.
Okay. So, mas lesser. Yung time frame na magkuhan siya, multiply kaya mas marami, mas rapid yung mas maraming falciparum ang ma-generate compared to this ovale malariae. So, sa ovale at malaria after 48 hours, then mag-change naman. Ibig sabihin, parang yung life cycle ng falciparum is mas mabilis compared to those three. Mas maraming ma-generate na falciparum, mas maraming mag-grow na falciparum. Okay, so that is the reason why. Next. Thank you, Ms. Coramen. Parasitic infection caused by helminths. So tapos na tayo sa may protozoans. So helminths naman tayo. Ito yung mga worm. Worm na tayo. First ay ang Ascariasis, or natawag natin, or also known as the roundworm. So alam niyo naman na ito, no? Ascaris. So ito yung very common uod sa katawan ng tao. Yung roundworm. Lalong-lalo na ng mga bata tayo. Or bata tayo nang bata kayo or bata pa. So usually, ito yung nagkukos ng infection sa mga bata. Okay? So Ascaris infection is one of the most common intestinal worm parasite infection in the human. Okay? So it is found in association with poor personal hygiene, poor sanitation, and in places where human feces is used as a fertilizer. Okay? So kapag yung may mga quad kasi tayo ng mga lalong-lalo na yung mga old-fashioned na mga quad, old-fashioned na way of quad, kinukuha yung mga o kaya kinukuha yung mga tae ng mga bata, then hinahalo nila dun sa may mga quad ng mga halaman. Okay, so yun kung paano natatransmit from one person to another later on. So people infected often shows no symptoms. Okay, so hindi mo alam kung meron kang Ascariasis o kaya roundworm sa inyong intestine. Okay? It shows no symptoms. Okay? Kaya nga periodic, I think periodic sa mga lalong-lalo na sa mga elementary last time, sa may mga public schools, public elementary. Dapat may periodic na every summer, I think every summer kailangan yung mga bata is magkaroon sila ng tawag ito, iinom sila ng anti-helminthic na drug. Okay? Para mawala yung mga roundworm sa katawan. Okay. Next, Ascariasis or roundworm, the parasite that is involved is Ascaris lumbricoides. So usually reservoir is the infected human cells, sometimes soil with roundworm eggs. So ibig sabihin, nabubuhay yung eggs dun sa may soil. So ibig sabihin hindi lang yung nabubuhay, ibig sabihin naka-dormant stage lang siya, guys. Okay? Habang nasa oil siya. Okay? So, dormant stage yung egg. Kapag na-transmit na yun sa may tao, doon na siya nag-develop into larva, then adult stage. Okay? So, mode of transmission, ingestion of eggs through hands that have contaminated with dirt, which contaminated with yun, egg, or contaminated food. So, usually, hindi naman na yung contaminated food siguro. Then, laboratory diagnosis, microscopic examination of stool samples for the presence of egg. Ibig sabihin, fecal smear na naman to. So, treatment, antihelmintic drugs like albendazole, mebendazole, or ivermectin. Okay? Albendazole and mebendazole. So, antihelmintic drugs sila. Mebendazole, I think, or albendazole, yung Antiox. Kung alam niyo na yung Antiox. Okay. I think albendazole siya or mebendazole. I don't know. Okay. Can you please check na lang. And Ascariasis roundworm, tawag dito, life cycle stage. Okay. So this is where. So for example, ito yung feces contaminated with yung egg. So ibig sabihin yung first na natin, infected na yung first person dito. Ito yung first person. Carrier na siya, kumbaga. Paano niya na-transmit yung ascaris sa ibang tao na. Okay, so let's say, for example, yung bata may tawag dito, may ascaris na siya. So tumae lang siya kung saan-saan. Lalo sa mga rural areas. So mahilig yung mga bata diyan na tumae na lang kung saan-saan eh. Okay? So doon sa may tae niya mismo, may unfertilized egg na siya diyan. Fertilized egg na siya diyan. Okay? So yung unfertilized, definitely mamamatay siya kasi unfertilized egg siya. But for those are fertilized egg, dun sa may mismong pa lang, sa may mismong tao dito, sa may mismong damo-damo, kaya may mismong soil, magde-develop na siya into a infective stage hanggang dito na. So dormant pa lang siya hanggang dyan. Until such time na ma-inhale o kaya ma-ingest ng ibang tao. At doon na nagkakaroon ngayon ng growth. Natitrigger na ngayon yung cyst. O yung cyst na tawag dito, no? Cyst o yung egg pa lang na mag-undergo ng larval stage na siya. Hanggang sa mag-develop into adult stage, mag-reproduce and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is the life cycle for the Ascariasis. Okay. So the adult worm. Okay. So adult worm will live in the lumen of the small intestine. A female may reproduce approximately 200,000 eggs per day for one female yan, which are passed within the feces. So sabihin na natin natanggal yan ng natanggal ngayon yan ng kalahati. So may parang natira parang 100,000. So unfertilized egg may be ingested but are not infective. So those are fertilized egg lang. Nag-undergo to embryonate and become infective after 18 days to several weeks. So depending on the environmental condition dun sa may mismong soil, so the optimum condition, okay, so the optimum condition must be moist, medyo mabasa-basa, warm, and shaded. Medyo malilim yung lugar, hindi direct ang sunlight. Okay. So after infective stage or infective eggs are swallowed, it will become larva. Pag na-swallow mo na yung infective egg na, okay, nagiging larva na yan. So, nag-invade ngayon through intestinal mucosa. So, larval stage siya, nag-invade na siya sa intestinal mucosa o kaya dun sa may intestinal tract na. and are carried through vital portal dun sa may mismong esophagus. Then, systemic circulation to the lungs. Sometimes pumupunta din dyan sa mismong lungs. Okay. So the larval mature further into the lungs 10 to 14 days. Depende yan. Then it will penetrate the alveolar walls, ascending to the bronchial tree, to the throat, and swallowed. Okay. So upon reaching to the small intestine, they develop into the adult worm na sila. And between 2 to 3 months are required from ingestion. The infective eggs to oviposition by the adult female. Then the adult worm can live 1 to 2 years. So kapag hindi natanggal yung adult worm, pag-multiply siya dun sa loob, they can live 1 to 2 years. Imagine mo yung isang female, dun sa may natirang 100 eggs. Sabihin na natin 50,000 dun, o kaya 10,000 ay female. Sometimes kasi yung mga egg dun na hindi na tawag dito na hindi sumama sa feces, na-fertilize na rin. Doon na rin nag-hatch into larva at nagiging adult na rin din sa mismong intestinal tract. Imagine mo yun, 1 to 2 years yung adult at naglilay egg yung female ng approximately 200 eggs per day. Ilan days lang po ang tawag dito, maturation niya. 18 days plus 14. Imagine nyo yan. Kung gaano kabilis dumami later on yung ascaris lumbricoides sa katawan ng tao. Okay? Next is the trichuriasis, or also known as the whipworm. Bakit sinabing whipworm? Ayun, no? It resembles like a whip. Ito yung handle, siguro. Ito yung handle. Ito na yung mismong whip. Okay. It often occurs in areas where human feces is used as a fertilizer. So halos parehas din sa may roundworm. Okay. Infected people could suffer from light, asymptomatic, or heavy, frequent, painful patches of stool that contains a mixture of mucus, parehas lang, watery, and blood infestation. Okay. Parasites, or the parasite, trichuriasis is the trichuria. Okay. Reservoir, infected humans, soil with whipworm egg. So, alas pares lang din sa may roundworm. Mode of transmission, ingestion of egg. Okay. Laboratory diagnosis, microscopic examination of stool samples. Treatment, antihelminthic drugs like albendazole and mebendazole or ivermectin. So, alas pares lang din sa may roundworm. Halos the same din yung sa may roundworm. Next is the Ancylostomyiasis or Nicatoriasis, or also known as the hookworm. Kaya tinawag na hookworm because of the hook-like structure sa may mouth ng worm mismo. No. Kita nyo guys, parang hook. Pang hook niya. It often occurs areas where human feces use as halos pares na naman. Sa may soil. Ginagawang fertilizer yung tae. The most serious side effect of hookworm infestation or infection are the development of anemia and protein deficiency caused by blood loss at the site of intestinal attachment. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang protein o kaya na nutrients ang sinasak ng hookworm or ang Cyclostomiasis or Nicatoriasis. Blood loss din. Okay? So, humihigop sila ng tugo. Sa may mismong intestinal lumen, dun sa may sa may tawag dito, intestinal tract niya. Okay? Parasite and Cyclostoma duodenale, Necator americanus. So, Cyclostomiasis for Cyclostoma, Necator americanus or Nicatoriasis. Okay? Reservoir infected humans, soil with hookworm eggs. So, mode of transmission by walking barefoot on contaminated soil. Ingestion of eggs, hands that have contaminated with dirt or contaminated food. So, microscopic examination of stool sample for the presence of egg. Then, treatment, antihelmintic drug like albendazole, mebendazole, pyrantel, pomoate. Pyrantel, pomoate, I think ito yung Combantrin. Kung naalala nyo yan, kung naabutan niyo pa yon. I think na lang ang Antiox ata ang uso natin during your during your time sa Then walking barefoot on contaminated soil, especially kapag may may sugat yung paa mo, possible na mode of transmission yun. Pupunta yan sa may bloodstream. Okay. Then i-invade na niya lahat ng usually sa may gastrointestinal na. Next, enterobiasis or pinworm, also known as pinworm. So the most common clinical manifestation of the pinworm infection is the itchy anal region. So ito yung medyo kati-kati sa puwetan. Usually kasi ito sa mga bata eh. May periodic din na pagkati ng puwet ng mga bata, either dust or dawn. Dust, ito yung parang ganitong oras, dust, yung paggabi na, kaya dawn, yung paumaga na rin. Okay? Ganun yung parang tawag dito, time kung saan nagkukan yung nagre-react yung pinworm dun sa may anal region. Kaya naging kasi sila gumagalaw sila. Kaya nagiging naiirita ngayon yung anal region ng person or kaya yung host. Kaya makati, kakamutin yan. So when the infection is heavy, there can be a secondary bacterial infection due to the irritation and scratching of the anal area. Kasi hindi mo maiwasan kasi makati nga eh. So, anong gagawin mo kapag makati? Kamutin. So, habang kamot ka ng kamot, ang possible na tendency yung mangyayari doon is masusugatan yung anal region mo or yung anal region. So, kapag nasugatan, anong mangyayari? Possible entry ng bacteria ngayon yan. Okay? So, secondary infection na yun aside from the enterobiasis or the pinworm itself. Next. Ayaw. Parasite, Enterobius vermicularis ang salarin. So, reservoir, infected humans, mode of transmission, fecal oral route. Or directly by hand or indirectly through contaminated clothing, bedding, food, or other articles. So, usually yung bata o host na may pinworm, as much as possible, kapag alam na natin na may yan, may tawag dito, may parang ganon. Kumakati-kati yung petan niya, medyo i-isolate nyo na. Okay? So, the laboratory diagnosis for this one is the tape test or cellulose swab test na tinatawag. Cellulose ba yun? Cellulose tape perianal swab or Scotch tape method, marami kasing pangalan. Then treatment, antihelmintic drugs. So halos pares lang, albendazole, mebendazole, pyrantel, pomoate. Next, ito yan. Pinworm, enterobiasis. Okay. From the perianal folds. Okay. For example, kakati-kati yan. Kinamot yung puwet. Pinunas lang dyan sa may bed. Si nanay, si ate, napunta doon. Siyempre, hindi mo alam kasi maliliit ang mga yan. Na accidentally na na-ingest mo yung egg. Napunta kay ate. Ayun. O kaya kay nanay. O kaya sa ibang kapatid. Nag-develop doon sa may gastrointestinal hanggang sa ma-reach niya yung small intestine na naging larva na siya. So habang nag-travel siya, papunta sa may large intestine, nagiging adult na yan. Okay? So ito yung itsura ng adult na pinworm. So yung mas malaki yung female o tinatawag na gravid or ito na yung maglilay sila ng egg dun sa may perianal region, dun sa may perianal foldings. Okay, kaya medyo makati yung sensation ng taong may enterobiasis. Kasi lalabas yung gravid, female gravid at mag-migrate dun sa may perianal region at maglay at night, also usually night pala. Doon siya maglilay ng egg kaya makati kapag lalabas na yung mga pinworm doon sa may pupuntang anal folds, anal region, perianal region. Doon na maka-experience ng taong kakati-kati yung pet o kaya yung bata na diagnose bata na mayroon siyang enterobiasis. Okay. So parasitic infection caused by arthropods na tayo. So yun last na yung helminths na yun sa may enterobiasis. So arthropods na tayo. Arthropods po hindi anthropods. Arthropods. Insects to. So first is these scabies. So an infestation of the skin. Ito yung sinasabi ko last time sa inyo kanina. By the human itch mite. So microscopic itch mite can burrow into the upper layer of the skin or to the epidermis where they lay their eggs and they will live there. So most common symptoms are the intense itching and a pimple-like skin or rash sa may balat. Next, parasites, Sarcoptesis scabiei. Reservoir infected human, mode of transmission, direct, prolonged, or skin-to-skin contact. So laboratory diagnosis, microscopic examination of skin scraping from the presence of the mite or eggs itself. So treatment, paano natin papatayin? Scabicides or permethrin cream, protamidon cream, or lindane lotion or ivermectin. So, meron naman treatment. Next is the pediculosis or lice infestation. Siguro naman wala sa inyo yung mga yung ganito. Skin infestation by tiny wingless insect that live by sucking blood. So, kuto, ito yung kuto guys. Life infestation usually causes severe itching on the infested area. Okay, so parasite. So there are three of parasite which causes pediculosis. First is the Pediculus humanus capitis or also known as the head loose. Sa ulo. Okay? Puto sa ulo, ibig sabihin Pediculus humanus capitis. The next is the Pediculus humanus corporis or the body loose. Ibig sabihin may kuto rin sa katawan. Kasi ito na siguro yung mga hindi gano'n naliligo na tao. Saka usually common dun sa mga ito is medyo yung mga balahibo. Medyo mga balahibo katawan na tao. And lastly is the Gyrus pubis or pubic crab loose. Ibig sabihin po, dun sa may pubic region. Kuto sa may pubic region.
Thank goodness. And reservoir, of course, infected humans, mode of transmission, direct contact or indirect through personal articles or belongings. Okay? Lalong-lalo na sa may Pediculus humanus capitis, suklay. As much as possible, guys, lalo-lalo sa mga babayan. Hindi maiwasan na maghiraman yan kung minsan ng suklay. Okay? O kaya yung sa may belongings sa may sombrero. Possible din yan. Okay? Usually yun lang naman yung mga belongings, personal articles na pwedeng makapag-transmit from one person to another. Kaya kinatabi mong matulog yung may Usually ganun naman, right guys, no? Yung unan. Okay? Meron palang may infestation pala na siya ng pediculosis or lice infestation. Lalo na kapag yung unan, napan mo rin. Ginamit mo pang unan din. So possible din niya ma-transmit yung lice of pediculosis sa iyo. Okay? So diagnosis, finding live lice, of course, or nits on the scalps, clothing, beds, linens, towels, and the pubic area. So pubic. So it's up to you guys kung gusto niyo na lang tingnan yung kung paano yung itsura nito. I think meron later on to sa may last na natin. Papakita ko kung ano yung mga itsura nito. Okay? Then treatment. Pediculicides like permethrin cream, malathion, lotion, Lindane shampoo, or oral ivermectin. So yun. At least may treatment. And other arthropods like Anopheles mosquitoes, very vector of malaria. Kung paano na tatransmit ang malaria, yung mga falciparum. Yung mga Plasmodium species. So Aedes aegypti mosquito is the vector of dengue. Kung paano naman na itatransmit ang dengue virus. Okay. Then Ornithodoros species or tick. Tick, ito yung garapata, guys. Garapata sa aso. Vector for Lyme disease. Next is wala na. Okay, so that is the end of our intro to parasitology. Hindi kayo makapaniwala na may kuto doon sa may pubic region, no? O may kilala kayong mga ganon? Natawa si Miss Talanay. Usually, yes, of course, meron akong kilala last time na gano'n. Ewan namin kung paano yan. Pero lalaki siya,
Sir.
Oh.
Tungaw samot dihay.
Tungaw? Habalit tungaw. Kuto dajay kuto. Okay? Kuto ti ulo, kuto ti bagikin, kuto jay. Jay, baba.
Sir.
Oh.
Kasano na ngayon ay cut?
Kasano na cut? Paano kung nawala ka mo?
Sir, jam amom.
Paano
Sir, diba
niya?
may kilala ka?
Paano niya tinanggal? Well, ayun nga, first nung parang pinakita niya sa mga indirect na nakita ko last time. Pero parang kinento na lang. Pero barkada rin namin kasi. Yun nga, nagtanong siya sa mga friends niyang lalaki din. Yung mga ibang barkada namin. Na, pare bakit ganito? Parang ang kati-kati, parang may kuto. Parang sabi niya. Yun nga, pinakita niya. Pero not totally naman na parang nilabas niya, guys. Pinakita niya. Ayun nga, parang may kuto nga. So, of course, research. Yes, research nila kung ano yun. Yun nga, lumabas, mayroon pala talagang kuto. At yun yung Tirus pubis, pubic crab lice na tinatawag. So, of course, nag-research na kami kung ano yung pwedeng pangtanggal dun. Ayun, lumabas yung mga, yun, sinabi dito, yung Lindell lotion, sabi niya yun sa may yellow ata yun. So, yun, ginamit niya dun. Natanggal. Na-treat yung parasite. Ano. Sa mga bata kasi usually mahilig yan kung lalo na kapag may mga kapatid tayo kaya pinsan tayong mga bata. Usually mahilig makipaglaro sa mga ibang bata din, no? So doon nila na-acquire din kung minsan kung yung isang batang kasama nila o kaya kalaro nila is may pediculosis or lice infestation siya. So parang natatransmit din lalong-lalo na kapag yun na, hindi mo maiwasan din mga bata. So, yun yung mga treatment na na-mention dito, possible na pwede nyong gamitin yan. Mga Lindane shampoo, ganun. Okay. Lindane ba yun? Mga taga Lindane? Oh, Lindane shampoo tawag. Tama, Lindane shampoo. Kung naman to, I think tawag dito, over the counter ito sa mga drugstore. Okay? Medyo mahaba-haba yun Isang oras lang naman. May question po ba tayo? Aside from that? Yes, Miss Talanay.
Sir, tanong ko lang po dun sa may ascariasis. Di ba po, sir, hindi nakaka-experience ng symptoms yung infected po na tao? Paano, ano po yung magiging epekto nun, sir, pag tumagal-tagal? May possibility po ba na maano niya po yung intestines?
Oh, yes. Wait. Ipapakita ko yung hopefully may PowerPoint ako dun. Wait lang, para at least makita nyo kung paano ma-extend yung severity ng Scariasis luricoides. Yun nga, kapag hindi naagapan. Usually kasi makikita nyo ito sa mga very known sa mga African. Yung infestation na to, kung saan yung mga African na mga bata, di ba, lumalaki lapa yung kanila. Lumalaki yung tawag dito. Lumalaki yung tiyan. Nagiging malnourished sila. Lumalaki yung tiyan pero lit-lit naman ng mga ganito pa kasi nga sinasak na nila, kinukuha na ng mga ng tawag dito ng mga parasitic worm yung kanilang pagkain, yung kanilang nutrients. Wala dito. Until such time na i-occupy na nila yung buong gastrointestinal tract. Kapag hindi naagapan yon at na-prolong pa, ang tendency yan, yung mga ibang tawag dito, yung mga ibang Ascaris lumbricoides pumupunta na din sa may mismong tawag dito, baga. Until such time na chochok na yung tao kasi wala na binabara na nila yung lagusan ng hangin or air passage. Sometimes yung ibang tawag dito kapag too much na yung Ascaris lumbricoides, kahit hindi ka na tumatay, kusang lumalabas na doon sa may mismong puwerta mo. Dahil sa dami nila. Can you imagine that? Wala naman, nasa na kasi yun. Saglit lang. Oh, ito. Yung sa mismong kwan ito eh. Oh, nakikita nyo yan? Intestinal tract na yan mismo. Nakikita nyo guys? Saglit lang. O yan, too much Ascaris lumbricoides na sa may kon. Tatanggalin na, kuha na siguro yan through operation na. Tatanggalin na yung kwan. So may stomach na siguro yan, kung saan. Kita yung dami. O, kapag nakakan yan, na pabayaan, anong mangyayari?
Sir, gaano siya kahaba, sir?
Ganun lang, konti lang siya. Oh, ganito lang, oh. Kita nyo yung laki. Oh, yan lang mismo. Parang kon lang. O nga, probably,
Parang spaghetti, sir.
hindi naman gano'n. Kasi may certain length yung kon eh, male and female. Ganyan lang, oh. O yan, oh, ganyan lang. Unlike yung kwan, yung tapeworm, yun talaga ang kwan. Yun talaga ang mahaba. Yung tapeworm. Later on na lang dito sa may kwan natin. So mag-focus tayo later on dun sa may fecal. Madi-discuss din natin yan hopefully. Ang makwan din dun, ang pangit dun sa may kwan, sa may tawag dito, tapeworm. Kahit iisa siya, mahaba. Segmented worm siya kasi. Dapat kailangan mong makuha lahat from head to tail. Kasi kapag kwan yun, kapag nahati, no, magde-develop yung end part niya into head o kaya tails kung sino man ang naputol dun, kung nawala. Ganun ka deadly ang kwan din, ang delikado din yung tapeworm. Kasi possible kwan din siya, mag-develop yung isang segment niya into head later on. Kaya kailangan makuha mo buo ang tapeworm. Pero unlike dun sa may kwan, sa may Ascaris kasi, by number kasi din siya. Marami, mabilis siyang mag-reproduce. Imagine mo yung 200,000 per day sa isang kwan lang yan, sa isang female lang yan. Yes, Mr. Kwan. Hans. Nakita niyo yung difference? Ganun kapag napabayaan. Lalabas yan sa bunganga. Kapag sa bunganga na, kwan na yun, severe na yun. Death na ang kwan ng next doon kasi magtatrap na sa may kwan, air passage mo, hindi ka na makakahinga. Hindi na namin kasi kwan yan, trinay na i-post yung mga ganung klaseng kwan. Pero kung pag titingnan nyo sa internet, makikita nyo yung severe na infestation ng kwan. Severe infestation of Ascaris lumbricoides. Kung gaano pa-extent yung nga, ng Ascaris lumbricoides. Kapag napabayaan. Same is true naman dun sa iba guys kung kwan. Kapag napabayaan. Lalo na dito sa may Necator america, Necatorias saka sa Encyclostomiasis. So hindi lang kwan yun. Remember yung isang kwan niya, tawag dito? Serious side niya is kwan, anemia and protein deficiency. So, ibig sabihin, kinukuha niya lahat yung blood at saka nutrients, protein dun sa katawan ng tao. Imagine mo yun. Pag maraming nakalagay, nakasak o kaya naka-anchor dun sa may mga lining ng stomach mo kaya din sa may mismong large intestine sa small intestine Anemic ako, anemic. Yun pala, may kon pala. No? Necatoriasis. Okay? Hindi natin kanya. Ganun mga klase ng parasites. Commonly known sa tao yun, guys. Ha? Tao, yung mga pinos natin ngayon. Mga parasitic infection sa tao, most common. Okay? Katanungan? May tanong po ba tayo? Sa mga kakain pa lang dyan. My God. Kung ano-ano kasang topic natin, no? Miss Garcia, yes, Miss Garcia.
Ay, sir, good evening po. Sir, dun po kasi sa final OSCE may na-mention po kayo at saka si ma'am na ano po yung kailangang i-identify yung scientific name, common name, ganun po sir. I-discuss niyo rin po ba yun sir or kami lang rin po magse-search ng common name ng mga ano po?
Na-mention ko na, di ba? Lalong-lalo na dun sa may Necatoriasis americanus. Necatoriasis. Anong common name nun? Is hookworm. Dun sa may Ascaristum rhicoides. Roundworm.
Ay, sir, so yung parasite mismo yung scientific name niya?
Nandito. Okay, pakita natin.
Thank you po.
Kung for example, dun sa may Ospinio later on, okay. So, nagtatanong na agad si Miss Kun agad siya. ng possible na question. Okay. For example, what is the common name of Encyclostomiasis? What is the common name of Necator americanus, rather, or Encyclostoma duodenale? So, anong i-answer mo? Pinworm ba? Roundworm ba? Whipworm ba? Or hookworm? Parang ganun lang yun. 1 point na agad kapag hookworm ang answer mo. Okay? For example, na naman. So, sa species ng Plasmodium na nagkakos ng malaria, sinong pinaka-deadly? Parang ganun lang ang answer. Ayun ko, ang mga tanong sa OSPE. Sa lab, sana OSPE. Anong i-answer mo? Plasmodium? Falciparum. Ano ang vector ng malaria? Ang vector ng malaria? Sige nga. Patatapos lang Vector ng malaria is Anopheles mosquito. Ang Aedes aegypti is for dengue. Ito lang kasi ang dito medyo problema kasi marami talagang dito nagkakaproblema dito sa talagang scientific name talaga Miss Garcia. Lalong-lalo na kapag OSPE na. Nabubulol kayo pag pronounce ng mga scientific name. Ano, Miss Garcia?
Okay na po, sir. Sir, bale yung sa malaria, wala na pong common name doon, sir, di ba?
Common name is yung malaria talagang yun na yung sakit. Pero yung nagkukos ng malaria, there are 4 different types of Plasmodium species. Yung Falciparum, Ovale, malariae, and Falciparum, Ovale, malariae. Ano yun? Ako, nakalimutan ko na tuloy.